face of hell, you know what I mean. I terrorize the neighborhood. They know that we're up to no good. We're at the house by the cemetery. They don't go in cause it's really scary. The door opens and I head on in. But not a hell, now begins. Inside, take a look around. The deputies by chuckles the crowd. Go up and down the big staircase. A secret panel to another place. I saw a guy wearing a hockey mask. He's carrying a bloody ass. He chases me on down the hall. And blood was dripping from on the wall. Haunted house. All the things I see. Haunted house. Being chased by a bee. Haunted house. I wanted to scream. Haunted house. Hope it's all a dream. Downstairs and they're following me into a room that's full of zombies. They're tearing into all my friends with a step in and jumped on my head by Chuckles the Clown. My knees buckle fall to the ground. And just when things couldn't get any worse, and now they're loading me into the hearse. Haunted house. All the things I see. Haunted house. Being chased by a thief. Haunted.
Come with your family. Come with your friends. That's the Rocky Point tradition. 'Cause it's summertime again. Rocky Point is so exciting. Rocky Point, where you can come alive. Rocky Point, you're all invited to share our summertime. Rocky Point.
Welcome back to the Chuckles and Laughs Show, and this gentleman I've had the pleasure of working with at Scary Acres, and he jumped at the opportunity to be on the special Chuckles and Laugh Rocky Point tribute. He was also on the movie You Gotta Be This Tall, The Ride, which was a great movie if you haven't watched that. And I feel obligated to have him on here. So let's hear it for Mr. Matt McDermott. Yes.
Not good to see you.
Welcome back once again. And by the way, you looked a lot better with the stuff on.
Oh, thank you very much.
You should keep that on all year round.
I try.
Normal stuff, you end up like him and you get maced.
I know.
Normal's not the way. So you visited Rocky Point quite often to the point where you were on the movie You Gotta Be This Tall to Ride.
Correct.
How tall was this tall?
No one ever knows. No one ever knows. It was always a blast to be there. I always every Thursday night, the radio station 92 Pro FM would be there. I would hang out with them because I know a lot of the DJs there, and I would always be on the radio with them.
Nice.
What were some of your favorite rides that were there?
Mine, it was the Cyclone, it was the Enterprise, and best of all, I always like the Free Fall because it was right next to the Flume, and also I always like the Corkscrew.
Those are all very popular rides. always had lines in front of them. That's one of the things I never understood because I didn't know the politics involved in closing this park. Because every year that I went there, and even the years that I worked there, that place was mobbed. It was the summertime, even if it was gonna rain, there were people inside that park. And I didn't understand for the longest time how it closed down until all the pieces of the puzzle were added, and there was a lot of key issues that closed it. Now, you liked the Flume, you liked all that stuff. Did you visit the Shore Dining Hall a lot?
I did. We were there a lot, and I love the food, and I miss it. And
Don't lie, you did not like the rubber chicken. Nobody liked that boiled chicken.
Well, I never had it, so I could never tell.
That was always one of those things where, no, I'd rather
You were
eat.
never that quick curious to say, hey, just once, let me try the rubbery, white, grayish colored chicken?
No, I always had the clam cakes and the chowder, and at the end they would give you. I always thought they would give you like just dessert, but they always give you the watermelon.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's dessert for us.
I know.
Watermelon.
Yep.
That was good stuff. Then you'd have some seed fights spitting them at your sisters or whoever's at the other end of the table.
You're supposed to spit the seeds?
Yeah, don't you know the old fairy tale that watermelons grow in your stomach?
That explains a lot.
You ate a lot of seeds, didn't you?
Well, I have not eaten as much seeds as some of the other people here, but yeah,
I got you on that. Did you visit any of the games? I mean, a lot of those, I'll be honest, those were definitely rigged.
Yes.
All
I
Carney
agree.
games are rigged. If you go to a Carney game anywhere and you think you're going to win something, you got another thing coming to you. Unless that Carney thinks you're drop dead gorgeous or you spent like $60 on that game to win that $2 stuffed animal to impress the gorgeous girl on the side of you, you're not going to win. It was just not going to happen. Did you actually get suckered into any of those games?
I didn't know. I will be honest. I did play a lot of them, but as you can, like you said, they were rigged, and I only played a little. I didn't play a lot.
You sound a little intimidated. I think maybe they got you for more than you're saying.
Now, you see, I've always found Carney folk to be an upright, outstanding, and very honest group of people.
Oh yeah. Same thing. I would leave my child for them to watch.
I was the
Definitely
child
would.
that was left to be watched by the Carneys.
I'm sorry, man. I didn't have a babysitter. It's the last resort I could do. It was either the Carneys or the Pit Bull, and the Pit Bull was rapid, and the Carneys looked like good people. I mean, so what if they were juggling knives and drinking whiskey and Yeah.
My favorite Carney that I got left with, though, he showed me this little card game with 3 cards, and he was bouncing. It looked like he had 6 fingers on each hand. He was bouncing around it so fast. But then when he stopped, I realized he actually did have 6 fingers on each hand.
Ah, there you go. Now, do either one of you gentlemen remember the arcade? Now, ladies and gentlemen, an arcade, I'm going to tell you what this is because they're obsolete now, basically. You get up off your ass. You get into an automobile with a pocket full of quarters that you work forever to get. You go to this arcade, you feed the machine quarters, and you play the game. It's not like now, where you pay $70 for the game and you stay at home and become, well,
Hermit.
yes, and
Couch potato.
pasty white, veal,
Human veal, yeah.
yeah.
You had to get the sunshine to get there, and not with the
Right,
sunshine.
and you become a poster child for Mountain Doom. You know where I'm going with this. Deadly. You had to get up and actually do something. Did you visit these arcades, either one of you? Did you remember that?
I did. I visited the arcade quite often. It was, you had to struggle to get the $2 to cut the lawn or $5 to bust a kneecap, and eventually you got the $27, $30 worth of quarters, and within an hour you were broke, but you had a hell of a time, and your headache from the flashing lights. But it was fun. That's what you did as a kid. You played video games, you went down, and then I even had a cousin that was in that little saltwater taffy shop. So she would let me lick the beater as it was going around.
Ooh.
Oh man, that must have hurt.
Only once. Did
Yeah.
it hurt? I did it several times, but
Oh.
it kept whacking me on the side.
Oh, yes, yes. You know what I remember quite fondly now that we're going on licking taffy? I quite fondly remember at the end of that trip always reporting, and yes, traveling to the fudge shop. Any of you remember that?
I do.
I mean, that place, they packed the best fudge I have ever had in my life.
They were expert fudge packers in that.
They definitely were. They
You
had
could
all
have a
sorts.
box the size of a postage stamp, and they would pack so much fudge in that little box,
Yeah.
you could be chewing on it for days.
They packed so much different types too. I mean, they'd be packing nutty fudge inside there. They'd be packing peanut nutty fudge inside there. They'd be packing fudge that had the milky center inside
What's
there.
that candy bar packed full of nuts? They had that type of fudge
Oh, yeah.
in there.
That place was awesome. You knew it was a good ride when you were going home and you had your box packed full of fudge.
Fond memories of picking it out. You just sitting there with your face pressed against the glass. Ooh, pack that fudge for me too.
Yeah, you always wanted it. And you wanted a different color of your variety of fudge packing going on. You didn't want just the plain old chocolate fudge. You wanted the vanilla fudge to be packed too.
How about? Do you all remember when they had the zoo?
I was not around for that.
No.
I was
You know, I am-
near the animals.
I am quite a few hundred years old, but I hadn't moved to Rhode Island yet. I do know that zoo was, a lot of those animals died of some very torturous things.
Yeah, it was a
Cool.
petting zoo.
That was called barbecue.
Yes. Did you pet the goat at all when you were there?
Sometimes.
So you were more into petting sheep. Why are you guys laughing? I want to see this petting sheep. Where are we going with this? We got a lot of
Deadly Dan.
programs.
I don't know, but there's some people. This is PG-13. I don't know where
Yeah.
your mind is going.
I mean, I let kids pet sheep
I have-
all the time.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you remember the train?
Oh, I do remember that train quite fondly. It was probably the most lamest vehicle in there, but it was the way to relax before you were leaving. And if you went under the flume at the right time,
Yeah.
when that flume came down, you would get splashed.
That's right.
And you seriously could have gotten electrocuted. I mean, that thing was on an electrical rail while water was splashing
That's
over it.
right.
And if I remember right, the benches were made out of wood and metal.
Yes.
There was
Wood,
no
metal.
rubber insulation. You were the rubber insulation.
Yeah, hopefully the grounding strap didn't fall off, otherwise you just sit there and shake and twitch a little.
That's right.
Yeah, I do remember that train. That was quite fun, and I remember a good friend, a conductor, operating that. Yeah. This weird guy that later on would show up. I don't know how it happened. Deadly Dan. I don't know how. It must have been like a relative. It looked like Deadly Dan. He got stabbed by the Viking on that train.
Uh-oh.
I don't know,
I don't know. I didn't know there was more than one ugly Deadly Dan around, but seems like his family tree went way back there.
for nothing, I've talked to Deadly Dan a few times, I think his family tree looks more like a wreath.
Wow. I was told it looked kind of like the Carney's family tree with the branch goes straight up. Yeah.
My other favorite ride.
I was just pelted by
You
something.
see how he's trying to get away from this? He's like, I want no part of this.
Are you
This is
feeling
going-
uncomfortable?
Very.
Would it help if a large, handsome, mustachioed, bearded man was hugging you while you were trying to avoid the subject?
Where'd you find one?
I don't know.
Listen,
My other favorite ride, I just gotta throw in, was also the bumper cars. I don't know if any of you remember
yes. They are not called the bumping cars. They call them the Dodgems.
That's it. I'm sorry.
I was actually Mr. Mayor used to call them the Dodgems, and he was on the movie with you. You got to be this tall to ride.
Yes, I remember.
He may have been, a little politically incorrect, but he was still one of this state's best mayors ever. And I never saw Providence so clean as when he was in office. And I definitely would vote for him as president or governor if he ran for it. Definitely would.
Probably. I always liked the shoulder strap or whatever retaining device they had on that. When you sat in, you didn't have a buckle. You just had this big noose that you threw
Oh yeah,
over your
yeah,
body. So
yeah.
if you were too small or too short, your arms were like this, and you were trying to drive. And
Yeah.
I do remember a very fond memory of mine. When I was there riding those, someone had actually decided to get out of the cart. And they were wearing flip-flops that were already wet. And I remember this blood-curdling scream as the person was popped. I mean, electrocuted to the point where it shot him over the little rail. They ended up getting third-degree burns going up from their
that
feet
was
all the
just
way up.
rapid egress. That's all. She was running so fast, she combusted.
Yeah. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're that stupid to get out of a moving bumper car and you get electrocuted with wet flip-flops, chances are you deserve what you got.
That's just Darwin. Darwin Awards material right there.
Which, talking about Darwin Awards, have any of you watched or read the Rocky Point comic book written by Jason Mayo?
I have.
Unfortunately, the gentleman's not here. Jason, this show's to you. When you read that and you read some of the incidents that he put inside that comic book, and you read of it, it is all, really is common sense stuff. When you got on that flume, you were told do not stand up on it because there were no seatbelts on it, which this day and age, if a vehicle doesn't have seatbelts on it, it's probably not going to work. But they told him do not stand up in it. This gentleman thought in his best interest to stand up on the top of the crest. And when he got up to the top of the crest, of course we know gravity kicks in. The cart's got to go down. So did he, as he got ejected out of the log and landed in the pool. And as he got up, he thought that he was out of the clearing. Cart 13 came down and ran him over. Yay him. He survived it.
Wow, he's lucky.
He probably needed to go to church after doing that one. But he definitely survived the ride. And you look back and you say, wow, you wish that the Darwin theory had come into effect with that because you know that guy is breeding. Why? And then you get the other great one. I always thought this was very interesting. The Skyliner. How many idiots out here jumped off that? Nobody? We got one. Let me give you this thing again. It's called gravity. And let's talk about the rock ledge, which was slippery. Yeah, either moss or wet, or it's a rock. It doesn't have a lot of friction to it to begin with. I'm gonna jump off this thing thinking it's okay. Now, if I miss that rock, I'm landing smack dab onto the railroad tracks, which were underneath it. And there was a gentleman that mistimed his jump, caught the ledge of the rock, slipped down, and banged his head on the rail tracks. Right after that, he had talked about seeing monkeys that had pushed him off the ledge. I guess he hit his head pretty damn hard. Now, that is another one of those Darwin theories there. You know, you just wish it had kicked in because you know that guy somewhere is breeding. The last one that I always thought was amusing, and this one is definitely no fault of the patrons, the ever so popular people falling off the yo-yo. The seats coming.
The chain would break and eject the people out into the
Wow.
other people.
Two young ladies flung off that with seat on butt into the game stands.
Which just proves that the seatbelts are really unnecessary because you're gonna die anyways.
Well, they didn't die, but I will tell you this, they got into Rocky Point for a long time for free. Let's put it that way.
Because they're looking for the rest of their shorts after this.
Yeah, definitely. Was there any time when you guys got on those rides where you may have feared for your life?
A little, yeah, because I knew a lot of those rides were unsafe, and I didn't know how really safe they were, but I would just take my chance. But luckily, I was one that never got hurt.
Kind of like Seven Rags, where everybody goes on the Duperman ride after hearing all those injuries. I'm sorry. After I hear someone gets their feet chopped off on this thing, I'm not going on it. The guy getting stuck upside down, well, that's an accident. But when you come down and your feet get chopped off, I'm all set with that. That place, I don't know how that place runs, because there is injuries on that yearly. And I think it's quite confidentially, they might be catching up with them, because a lot of those places are starting to go bankrupt. Oh. Well, any closing thoughts now that the park is closed, that you might want to tell the folks before we let you run, before the gas is released?
Well, I will tell you, I do miss it, and it is nice that they did turn it into a walking park, and I go down there every so often just to go walking, and it is nice. So for those of you who haven't been down there, I advise you to go down there and to try it out for yourself. The front entrance where that sign used to be, that's no longer there, but it is nice just to go down there and just to check it out and see how your memories are.
I think they should put that damn thing back up. There's no reason they should have taken that down. None. That wasn't going to catch fire or destroy anything. There was no reasoning for that. That was just, let's destroy this. That was one of the saddest days in my life. Not the park being sold, because you always had that glimmer of hope. Some little jerk out there decided it was okay to go start a fire in a cotton candy machine. Why? I don't know. But the one thing that made that know that it wasn't coming back is when the tractor did take down that sign. You knew it was done. The park was gone.
That's one of the two saddest days of my life. The other one was when I went fishing on the old Jamestown Bridge, and I kept hearing the popping noises, and then I woke up and I was on Block Island.
Ah, so you were on the bridge when they destructed it, huh?
I found out later, yeah, I
Yeah.
just had a nice cast. I'm sitting there reeling it in nice and slow. Next thing you know, boom, 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 Block Island.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking to find some more information about this park, and maybe you want to come on our show next year and share your experiences, maybe you were an employee there. We've had them here too. We've had a good old friend that operated the Corkscrew, and his name was the Jew. Which, if you haven't watched the show, it's pretty funny. And maybe you'll come on, share your experiences. Look us up at the Chuckles and Laughs Show, yahoo.com, or you can find me at Chuckles the Clown on Facebook and message me, and we'll try to get you guys on the show next year. So, without further ado, I'd like to thank Mr. McDermott once again, and we will talk to you guys later.
Thank you. Thank you, Bowie.
Morgan here. And you know something, brother? Times are tough out there, even for me. You know, my wife left me, my kids suck, I can't even afford real shirts to rip apart anymore. What is this? But let me tell you, I got a solution. Because the Hankmeister, he knew he needed to do something. So I grabbed a great white shark, cruised across the ocean. I rode a white tiger to the top of Mount Everest. And as I looked down on the civilizations below, it came to me like a 10 million volt bolt of lightning to the brain. Randomania! We got TVs, DVD players, computers, couches, chairs, tables, all your appliance and furniture needs under one roof, and all at a price even those feeble-pocketed Hankomaniacs can afford. You can even get a couch just like this one. I slammed that nasty, stinky, dirty giant Andreas
on that very couch in 1987 in front of 93,000 fans at the Pontiac Silverdome, dudes. And it's still here today. Now that's quality! So let me ask you something, America. What you gonna do when Rentomania runs wild on you?
Ladies and gentlemen, coming up next on the Chuckles and Laugh, Johnny from the
Johnny and the Earthquake Band.
This is a true story about a woman from my hometown that got dismembered. I took my girlfriend skating. I went to smoke while waiting. Now, I've seen scary things before, but this was even more so. The night I saw the ghost of Mary Stetson's torso. All she wore was a blood-stained bag. Ouch, my drawers made me gag. She looked a little like Casper, a little like Venus, a little like Big Morrow. The night I saw the ghost of Mary Stetson's torso. She tried to name her killer.